Do you guys ever just start, like, cooking and then you realize you want to make, like, a complicated dish? So you go to the internet and then everything on the internet looks, like, super easy, so you just start cooking and then the dish that you make is not even the dish you were planning to make? Is that just me? Okay. Anyways, hey guys, it's Diabetic Girl. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, this is where I rant and try to give education lessons on my life with type 1 diabetes. I can't decide what I want to do with my knee right now, so we're just going to let it wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, it's a Friday night, okay? It's like 9 o'clock on a Friday night. I don't have any plans because I don't have any friends. Actually, that's not true. I have plenty of friends. But I don't have any plans right now, and, like, I've been up for basically, like, 12 and a half hours, and I have no focus, but I decided to film today's video anyways. I'm sorry for anything that gets said. Also, for those of you who have been on the channel for a long time and are like, where are you? Okay, this is going to date this video, or at least any video that I filmed in the past, like, 4 years. I have not filmed a video in my kitchen, which is where we're at right now, in, like, probably a good 2 years. And if you guys are like, why are you in your kitchen? Well, because I just made dinner, and I wanted to make sure it didn't, like, burn the house down, or, like, nothing exploded. For those of you who don't know, I, like, can't cook. And when I can cook, it usually tastes great, but I, like, don't know how I did it. So, yeah, that's basically my life. But I can bake. I can bake really well. I can't cook. But that is not the subject of today's video. In today's video, I want to talk about something that I get asked a lot, and I decided to clear the air for a lot of people. So today I want to talk about why pump therapy was the right choice for me, and, you know, fill you guys in a little bit, because sometimes it's not always the right choice. So, to start off, let's do the educational piece of this video, and then I will dive into my story. So, for those of you who don't know, there are two types of insulin therapies for type 1 diabetics. The first one being insulin shot therapy. Now, almost every single diabetic or type 1 diabetic that I know always starts on insulin shot therapy. Unless their parent is a diabetic and has been on a pump, they almost always start with that. And this is going to date my diabetes a little bit when I start this. But when I was first on shots, I had a sliding scale. I know a lot of doctors don't use this anymore, and I've worn a pump for like 12 years this Sunday. So this video definitely dates my diabetes, and it's kind of awkward. So I was on a sliding scale of NPH and Humalog, which I'm pretty sure I read somewhere online in the last, like, 2 years that you're not supposed to mix those. So, like, you only live once, right? So, basically, for those of you who don't know what a sliding scale is, it meant that I had a certain amount of insulin I had to take in the morning, and that could change based on blood sugar, and same with the evening. So most of the time, the only time I would take NPH and Humalog would be when I was waking up and eating breakfast. Ooh, breakfast. And then the rest of the day, I would take Humalog, and it was like 9 o'clock at night. I only, like, vividly remember what time I had to take my Lantus, because my stepfather used to always come in and give me my Lantus at 9 o'clock at night. And instead of, like, just, you know, giving me the insulin like my mom would, he would, like, wake me up, check my blood sugar, and, like, have a nice conversation with me. Most of the time, I'd be like, Dad, I'm tired. Go away. Because literally, until I was, like, a freshman in high school, I had never stayed up, like, later than 8:30 because I like to sleep. I still love to sleep. Like, this is literally the latest I've been up in, like, 2 weeks. It's a strange ordeal to me right now. So, anyways, that was my life before I wore a pump. And for some people, insulin shot therapy works perfectly, and that is what they want to do. And I respect that. I don't want to put you on a pump if you don't want to be on a pump. But here is my thing and why I am on an insulin pump. So for those of you who don't know, or you're newer to the channel, sometimes I can be a real space cadet. Sometimes I can just forget to give insulin. I'm, like, so bad with it. The thing is on my hip, and sometimes I forget about it. I'm getting better, I swear. But it's definitely an experience and a half. going from not really taking care of your blood sugar to like being really on top of it. It's definitely been a very mind-numbing experience, if you will. So, for those of you wondering, I wear a Medtronic Revel 723. I usually wear a Medtronic 715, which was the first pump I was ever put on 12 years ago this Sunday. For those of you who were like, wait a minute, she was put on a pump on Valentine's Day like 12 years ago. Yeah, judge me. Judge me. That was the name my mom chose, and so I went with it. I don't know, when I was younger, my mom had a lot of control of my diabetes. Also, for those of you wondering, because this is kind of what sparked this video, where the hell is my new pump? Okay, today I got 2 phone calls from Medtronic and 2 emails from Medtronic while I was at work. And so I went to go call Medtronic back when I got home to send out the shipping and authorize the shipping for my CGM and my new pump. And I'm also not sure if I'm getting a Revel or a 530G because no one's actually told me what kind of a pump I'm going on. But I guess I'll find out when it gets here next week, huh? Yep. That's how I go. So that's what kind of sparked this debate. Now, a lot of people ask me why I wear a Medtronic. When I first went on a pump 12 years ago, my mom's, Girl Scout leader, her son was going overseas to Iraq, and he was put on a Medtronic. So my mom was like, yes, Medtronic, and was, shoving it down my throat. And because I obviously didn't know much about a pump, I couldn't really voice my opinion. So I went to this weekend down at Clara Barton Camp, or Barton Center for Diabetes Education, depends on who you talk to and what it's called. I went to a pump weekend, and I tried a Medtronic pump, and this was the most traumatic experience of my life, and you guys are probably going to laugh in about 10 seconds. But I first tried the Medtronic pump with a Silhouette infusion site. And if you guys don't know what that is, I'm pretty sure I did do a video about the Silhouette. I will try to find that video on my channel and link it down below for you guys, just so you could see what it's all about. But basically, when I first started wearing a pump, I was 70 pounds because I was a child. And this needle was this long. I mean, I was trying to shove it in there. And it was the scariest thing, and it fell out, and I cried for 20 minutes. Then I had a camp counselor who I've mentioned in several videos who put me with a quick set, and I fell in love with the quick set. And from that point in time, I wore a Medtronic pump for about 3 years. And you're going to laugh at the reason why I switched pumps. So I am back on a Medtronic. We'll talk about my switching in a second. I love Minimed Medtronic. I would do anything for these people. These people have done so much for me. I've had so many amazing representatives over the years. And it is just the pump for me. And a lot of people always ask how I know that. When I was in the 7th grade, I switched to an Animas Ping. It was the newest pump of its kind when it came out, and it was a great pump. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing Animas. I loved that I could give my insulin from my meter. But I did have a small problem with the Animas pump and the meter, and I'll go into a brief discussion about that now, and then we'll go back to how I live my life now. So I wore an Animas pump for 2 years, maybe a little less. And because the Animas is promised to be 100% waterproof, anytime the screen cracks, you have to get it replaced. And it was really annoying because, I'm very rough and tough. I like a pump that's going to, withstand my lifestyle because my lifestyle is not oh, I'm going to sit down and drink some tea all day. It's just not who I am. I am, crazy. I am wild. I am everything that you don't see on camera, basically. So the other thing that I really didn't like was that the meter screen was really temperamental. You guys think your iPhones are bad when they break? These meter screens would literally, if you drop them in the right way, would literally get this big purple line down the middle, and it was the most annoying thing in the world. And yes, I understand they were the first of their kind, so they were still working on the kinks, but from what I've even seen now, 5 years later, they're still like that, and it really bothers me. I need to have a pump that is sturdy and durable, and I love Animas, alright? I really, really, really do. They make a good pump for people who aren't like me. Plain and simple. So why did I decide to go back onto Medtronic after all of this, and why did I leave Medtronic? So I left Medtronic in middle school again because I actually lost the battery cap for it, and I was just beyond frustrated because I had no fucking clue how I lost the battery cap, and I was looking for a change. Luckily, so I lost the battery cap, and then I like had an extra one in my house because I always have a backup pump. So I had an extra one in my house, and then literally, like a week later, I got an A52, and for those of you who don't know, that usually means the pump is failing. And my mom tried to call Medtronic because I was at school, and they gave her terrible customer service. They like weren't respectful, and so I was like done at that point in time because you better respect my mom, especially because like we knew what we were doing, and I was just done. And at this point in time, I had a lot of connections from doing a lot of the camp weekends, and I actually almost went on an Omnipod. I don't even know if this guy is still there, but I absolutely love the Omnipod guy that was there a couple of years ago. I love him. His name was Ed. He was one of the nicest people, and I literally just wanted to go on Omnipod so I could be like, hey, Ed, I wear your pump! Okay, maybe I also wanted to go on Omnipod because Nick Jonas had one, so it was, like, relevant. But anyways, after much discussion with my doctor, we realized that my skin would be too sensitive for an Omnipod. Then the next pump I had tried at a pump weekend was an Animus. So I said, hey, let's go with an Animus pump. So, as I said, I wore my Animus for like 2 years, and I loved it, but it wasn't the pump for me. Because literally, like, I literally should make a comedy sketch about how many freaking times I drop a pump, wear a pump in the shower when I'm not supposed to, because I've, like, forgotten to take it off, or I've showered with my clothes on because I'm low. Like, I should just write my life as a sketch comedy, literally, because I drop everything far too much. So maybe that's what I'll do for, like, a week. Maybe I'll just, like, vanish and write my life as a comedy sketch. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But, so I dropped it too much. So it broke all the time. So when I was a freshman in high school, I decided to go back on the pump. And for those of you who don't know, which is probably a decent amount of you or all of you, when I was going into high school, I actually tried to commit suicide by overdosing on insulin, and it obviously didn't work, and I'm very glad it didn't work because it was really just a reaction to me being nervous. So I was off the pump for about 6 months after that happened, and I still don't really talk about it today. I'm still really embarrassed about it, and I don't know why I don't talk about it because I feel like I should see if I can help someone out. So maybe I'll do like a full story about that in a couple of weeks when I'm ready to talk about it. So I was off the pump for like 6 months, and then I had gone to my first checkup after that, and I was looking really good, and it was time to go back on a pump. And I immediately decided I wanted to go back with Medtronic because the first thing I remember when I was trying to go back on the pump was how reliable Medtronic was. So I got right back on a Medtronic almost a week after we decided to do this, and I've been wearing one ever since. Now, a lot of people ask, why don't I try different pumps? It's not so much that I'm set in my ways, but it's that I've worn a Medtronic for so long that I don't know how I feel about changing a company. Like, I've literally worn a Medtronic for like 12 years. Or, well, 10 years because I have a little while on the Animus. I have literally worn a Medtronic for as long as I can remember. And they've just always had such amazing customer service. They've always just wanted the best for me. And that is why I have always just stuck with them. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't find the newer pumps interesting. Like, I want to learn more about the T-Slim and this Animus vibe. But the chances of me switching are very rare because I have literally just worn a Medtronic all of my life. And it's just, the Medtronic is like my comfort at this point in time because I know how to work it. I know how to do everything. It's just the pump for me. And I'm not saying that it's the pump for everyone, okay? Everyone's diabetes is different. You could manage yours with a T-Slim and absolutely love the T-Slim. You could manage yours with an Animus and love the Animus. The Animus just wasn't the pump for me, you know? and that's just how it goes, unfortunately. And a lot of you ask why I wear the Medtronic CGM when the Dexcom is more accurate. Let me be completely honest with you and just say that I only wear my Medtronic CGM because so when it first came out, like 10 years ago, I was already on it. Like when it came out, it was like the first thing I did, I was on it. I fell in love with it. My thing with the Medtronic soft sensor, or Guardian Real Time as it's called, or the old one is that people are always complaining that they can't get it accurate enough. I only calibrate it 4 times a day, and it usually is very, 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 very on track with my diabetes. So I've always just used it and loved it. I don't know, that's just who I am. Will I try a Dexcom someday? Probably. But just right now, going with a new pump and like trying to get my diabetes care back in handle, I feel better off wearing a Medtronic because it's what I'm comfortable with. It's what I've managed my diabetes with since I was 7. So that is why I am so stuck in my ways, literally. So thank you guys so much for your love and support. And also, just to let you know, Tuesday, January 16th, I will probably end up doing an unboxing video because my Lawrence Hope medical ID bracelet will be here, and I want to share that excitement with you guys. I'll try to remember to not open it before I film the video, but the chances of me remembering are very slim. So let's see if I remember. Anyways, thank you guys for your love and support, and I will talk to you later. Bye!